Maybe to start, what projects that you can talk to, that you can speak to, are you working on now? What can we expect from you in terms of output in 2024?
Primarily, I'd like to get like some kind of a gallery to, put on a show. I do the shows out at Compound Contemporary, which are pretty nice, but they're usually like more collaborative shows. And so I'd like to do something on my own that I had a reason to actually do, like a couple of big paintings for. I haven't really done that in a while. So this year, I just feel like it would be a good year to do it. I'd love to do one in a foreign country too. I'd like to do one in China, and Singapore, or Japan. Tokyo would be a great place to do one. Right.
And will there be kind of similar to some of your 2023 installations and projects that you've worked on? Will there be a blockchain tie-in to some of those installations, or is this more traditional art?
That's an interesting question, because initially I really started out with the idea of doing traditional art. Like I thought, Jim's got to go out and actually do some paintings, like paintings that he hasn't. I mean, literally I worked for like a half a century cranking out paintings for everybody else, or like artwork for everybody else, like for every band, every movie, just on and on and on. So like, what would I do if I want to do something on my own? But then towards the end of the year last year, when Art Basel was happening, a friend of yours, Lauren, got me a thing with Scope, where they wanted
nice.
a giant installation, like it's 50 feet wide and 20 feet tall, like 8 or 10 feet was above the stage, then there was another 3 or 4 feet below it. So they split up this thing, and they wanted like basically individual dimensional objects, and my artwork actually running in an animated way, but at a giant resolution. So it's almost like IMAX TAS or something like that. So we put that together, and I was fascinated by that idea. So I may change my mind altogether and go with something much more technologically oriented. I mean, I'm certainly fascinated with AI quite a bit right now, and I use it and play with it and watch it and interact with it. I mean, I feel like it's like a great new artist tool in some ways. I feel that the intersection of art, science, and technology is like happening more now than it ever did before.
Sure.
In some ways, as a way to really use it. I mean, when you think about it, I started out as like an analog guy. I mean, the most analog guy you could possibly imagine. I had my pencil, a little piece of paper. I did underground comic books, and they were published, and they were black and white. I mean, it doesn't give, And when I called somebody, I had to call them on a telephone. If they weren't there, there was no answering machine. There was nothing, Communication was bad. It was just, it was like starting really from scratch. Now, there's so many options available to an artist, either a young artist or a more mature artist like myself, that you'd be an idiot not to just jump into the deep end of the pool and start playing with it rather than be afraid of it. So the blockchain idea, say if somebody set up a big installation, I can't even imagine now not doing a more technological installation than I would have previously, like having a bunch of paintings on the wall. I mean, when I came out of art school, like a lot of my friends went to more fine art, and I felt always kind of intimidated by that, but because, it's like, I thought, well, they did have a show or something like that, and then, 100 people or 1,000 people come to their show, and then it's over, right? Where I do an album cover, and like tens of thousands of people all over the world, like see this album cover sitting in a store somewhere, right? Or it's on TV, or it's like on a billboard. So I like the idea of like my art getting out that way, but I never was able to set up the right space between fine art and commercial art, like what I was supposed to do, Like, was I selling myself out, or was I really expressing myself?
Right.
Now, with technology more involved, I feel like I can engage with all these different mediums and still totally express myself and not feel intimidated.
Right.
Be in a gallery and have a couple of paintings, but I've never really been excited about just having a couple of paintings hanging on a wall. I just, no matter what I said, I always thought like, I need a gallery show, but then I thought, so it's like 20 paintings hanging on a wall. But with technology, like when I saw that thing at the Scope did, I thought, wow, that's like pretty freaking amazing. I mean, it's like 50, suddenly it's like IMAX art, and it's all moving, and there's like music associated with it, and I thought, yeah, I like that better.
So we could potentially see more of that from you in 2024. That's that blending of technology and gallery and, the mix of all of it.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
I would say that for me, actually sitting down and doing paintings, I may have become already bored with it, you know, before I even do it. I don't know. Because there's so many things to do right now. There's so many options, and there's so many ways to go about it. And AI, like I said, AI is like, I really find it fascinating, like what it can do and what the potential is. I spend a lot of time like reading about it, quantum theory, AI, you know, simulation theory, all that sort of thing. It's like, I can't see art without all that. I mean, that, you know, being kind of Buddhist in nature myself, I find that all that sort of locked into that illusionary thing that, you know, art is an illusion, you know, life is an illusion.
Right. And in terms of that philosophy, what have other like-minded artists in the space thought about in terms of technology and Web3 and crypto? What are their thoughts on the future 2024? What are you guys talking about and thinking about the direction of the tech?
I mean, it's a tricky one because I've got a couple NFT projects, right? And I talked to you about one, the Sim Warriors, a while back, and it's kind of like evolved into more of like a book, but it's such an evolved project that with the, I don't know, what would you call it, the crypto winter or the NFT winter or whatever we're in right now, it's like launching it as an NFT would be sort of a waste of time because it'd be such a giant effort, and if it just went out there and just like, oh, it's an NFT, you know, and it's like a giant thing, and it's like nobody came to it. So instead, it's actually evolved into a bunch of other things, and it may end up being an NFT just as an adjunct to everything else.
Interesting. So it's almost like the bear market has helped you creatively to spin off the idea into areas that you perhaps didn't think about previously, but because the market is, as you were mentioning, you know, if people aren't going to come to it as an NFT drop necessarily in this interesting time, it's allowed you to innovate with the idea into different areas.
Yeah, I would say precisely that. The entire outbreak of NFT art and the mindset that went behind it, the thinking that went behind it, and people getting more involved in stories and storytelling and all that, certainly sent me in a completely different direction than I would have ever gone before. So whatever happens with NFTs ultimately, or the blockchain, I would say that it's been very influential on me. Like, for instance, if there was a good reason to jump right back into it right now, I would do it immediately. You know, I wouldn't hesitate at all. I like the idea of a blockchain, and I'm looking for a blockchain solution for my entire life's work. And I almost had it at a point about, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago, but then the company they didn't really pull it together quite right. But the idea of like someone like me who has all their work, like literally all over the place, right? I've got like tens of thousands of pieces of artwork I'd have to go to a drawer to find it, or like, I don't even know where it is. But if I manage to scan all that stuff and put it on the blockchain and create certificates of authenticity for it, and it actually lived in this like virtual world, I mean, that's literally something I think that would really have a lot of merit and definitely help me a lot.
Right, and if the tech gets to that point this year, is that something you would embark on?
In a second. Awesome. I mean, I would put the time in. I actually put quite a bit of time into that particular one in terms of like putting together lists of everything I have. And believe me, it's a freaking awesome list. I mean, it's all over the place because you have like, you know, because I go on like from style to style to style, and in each style I may have done 1,000 pieces of artwork. You know, with the rock posters, I've done easily 500 different rock posters, right? Advertising art, I mean, I did illustration art during the 70s. All the album covers, I've probably done 400 album covers at least. And all that stuff, I mean, you know, like say for instance, if I have a version of that, and I do have it on the blockchain, and somebody went on the blockchain eventually and wanted to buy it, or say for instance, if I passed away, and my family had all that stuff on the blockchain, and they knew where it was, somebody wanted to buy it, and they could have like, they could buy it from the blockchain, we could like drop ship it from them. So it becomes like a gigantic store. And it's authentic because it's from us, it's from me, our family. So the authentication for different artists, the blockchain makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's something other than just like putting a bunch of NFTs and hoping somebody buys them, right?
Right. No, totally. Well, totally. Yeah. Well, hopefully the tech gets to that point this year, and it sounds like you have a lot of awesome irons in the fire, both in the physical and digital space, and looking forward to hearing more about what comes up and what you get into over the next 12 months.
Okay.
Awesome.